So we're on Pauri 33, which ties in beautifully with the subject that Lena handled so beautifully, so amazingly well, with so much research and so much deep diving into Gurbani. Akhan jor chupe na jor, jor na mangan dein na jor, jor na jeevan maran na jor, jor na raj mal mansoor, jor na surti gyan vichar, jor na jukti chute sansar, jis hath jor kar vekhe soe, nanak uttam neech na koe. Sorry, I have my phone there. So, Akhan jor chupe na jor. This Pauri talks about how the real power resides somewhere else. The word jor, like so many other words and concepts in Gurbani, has a lot of depth, highly nuanced again. A very dense word, once more. Jor is power. Jor is creative force. Jor is, in the worldly sense, it could be aggression. It could be ego. It could be things we do when we try to push things through.
Can it be strength also?
It could be
capability, maybe.
It could ability, strength. A lot of different, I want to say shades, a lot of different colors to it. The word jor. Pretty amazing how Gurbani uses one word to convey so many different related concepts. Here, Guru Sahib is telling us that the real power in everything that happens resides with the Akal Purkh. And once we realize that, then we get into a mind that is easy, that is in ease, that is in equipoise. And the reverse is also true, that when we are in equipoise, we realize that jor doesn't help. So there is Akhan jor chupe na jor. There is no way that we can speak with our own strength. There is no way in which we can be silent with our own strength. Meaning that whatever we say, and it's kind of, at first when I read this, I am trying to share with you my own inner journey of trying to understand what this Shabad is saying. So on the one hand, we're all accountable for what we do, right? Dharam Rai jab lekha mange kya muh leke jayega, right? We are everything that we do, we have to do carefully. There has to be self-reflection, there has to be udam, there has to be accountability, we have to be responsible. But then, when you read a Shabad like this, Akhan jor chupe na jor, kuch hai nahi mere paas, which then you think, what am I going to be accountable for? But that's not what this Shabad is saying. Even though sometimes it's interpreted as that. What it's saying over here is that when I try to push things through, when I think that my words are going to make the biggest impact, or I have to struggle, I have to say this with so much force and make things happen, then I'm hitting a wall many times. And when I relax, and when I let go, and when I'm in ease, then in the blink of an eye, the results happen. Very quickly things come about. That is what this Shabad is saying to me. Not that I can do nothing and then what am I going to be accountable for. So I don't have on my own, I don't have the power to speak, I don't have the power to be silent. What it's really trying to say is that when I am silent or when I want to tune in, my mind still runs all over the place. And I cannot be struggling to be in silence. I cannot be struggling to be in harmony. I cannot be struggling when I'm using my words to make an impact. Bulaya boli tera, tu sahib kuni kahera. I need to become a vehicle Teri meher da bolna tud aage ardas. Everything I utter, everything I say comes from grace, comes from a power that resides within me, and that is not something that comes with struggle. And there are so many. Just leave it. What the hell are they?
Postpone the
Postpone. Yeah, I think the mouse is.
to hit return.
Screen is all
Just
covered
hit
with.
return, it will do that because postpone is highlighted. Yeah.
I'll just hit return. So whether I'm speaking or I'm silent, whether I'm asking for something or I'm giving something, jod na mangan dein na jod, we all realize that there is another power that gives birth and another power that takes life. That's easy. We recognize that I don't control when I'm born and I don't control when I die. But all that happens in between, we don't recognize that the power of the Creator resides in that as well. Jod na jivan marna jod, jod na raj mal mansur. We're constantly thinking of amassing wealth, of amassing power. But they're also the creative force that helps us get there is not our own. It's not just our own effort that gets us there. Jorna Raj Malvanso, Jorna Jukti. There are lots of ways and means and skills and self-help books and things are taught. This is the way. This is the Jukti. This is the way that you have to do things. You know, people say it very forcefully, but none of those are again self-contained. All of this Shabad points to the fact that the real power resides elsewhere and the real creative force is within you, but you don't recognize that, because when you recognize that, then you won't be struggling, then you won't be aggressive, then you won't be forceful, then you won't be pushing your way through the walls, then you will be in ease. You know, when we learn, those of you who remember how it was to learn how to bicycle, right? You're struggling and that moment when you get that balance happens when you are in ease. It doesn't happen when you're struggling. Same with when you are learning to swim. You're flaying your hands all over and you feel like you are drowning. But then the minute you relax, it comes so easily. So everything in life is like that. When the tightrope walking is another example. We've seen in India and we've seen over here how gymnasts and you know, in these circuses, these absolutely talented, amazing people walk this tightrope, and there are these hungry lions underneath or a precipice or whatever. So what is making them succeed in that tightrope walk is not struggle. It is equipoise. It is balance that they have brought into that effort. The word equipoise is equal balance. That's what it means. And that's what we need to bring into our life. Sahaj is the opposite of struggle. That's what we need to imbibe, and that's what we need to strive for. Because anytime we try to push through things, it ain't gonna happen, whatever that might be. Everything needs practice, everything needs consistency, everything needs hard work. And then it becomes easy. Then it becomes fruitful. We are able to accomplish what we set out to do. Malcolm Gladwell, the author of, how many of you have read Outliers? Malcolm Gladwell, right, talks about 10,000 hours that you need to invest in anything, and talks about the importance of culture, family, generations that precede you to make you successful. And you have to keep at it. The best violinists, the best golfers, the best musicians start early on in life, at the age of 5, at the age of 7. You see how these, Olympic medal folks succeed. They have had tons of practice, but it's not struggle. It's consistence, it's effort, it's everything that you do over and over again. You don't need to practice when you are good. You need to practice to be good, to get there. And it has to happen in ease. It has to happen every day. That's why it's called practice. So that is the key on the spiritual path as well as in the worldly realm, because they are connected. We don't live in a compartmentalized world. Whatever we do in our daily lives impacts our spirituality, and whatever our spiritual practices impacts our daily life. So that's what we need to remember when we are... Guru Sahib has made this very clear in this Shabad, that our harmony and our struggle and our force and our aggression is not the way to success. The same author of Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell, I hope I'm saying his name right, wrote a book before he wrote Outliers called Blink. And there he talks about the enormous power of intuition. Intuition doesn't happen with struggle. It happens in ease. It doesn't happen with force, and it doesn't happen with pushing things through. It happens when we are relaxed. It happens when we let go. And what do we do? What do we need to do to let go? We need to come into Sahaj, and we need to come into Saran. Very much what Leena was saying through those beautiful quotations, that leave it to Akal Purakh, leave it to grace, leave it, just let go of yourself, surrender, and know that through your own power, through your own force, through your own judgment, through your own ability, through your own strength, you will not be able to get what you want. So all the skills, all the surti, that's not what's going to get you anywhere. Jod na jukti chute sansar. Liberation doesn't happen like that. You won't be able to attain salvation if you decide that I am going to be so disciplined and I'm going to get up no matter what. And then you get into this ego thing that I'm better than you because I'm getting up in the morning and I'm doing my 5 nicknames and I'm struggling to do this, to be so better than you and so ahead on the spiritual path. All of these things are absolute guarantees of pitfalls, of coming down and falling. And then, but once you recognize, Jis hath jod kar vekhe soe, where the true power resides, soe. So I want to share with you where else in Japji Sahib the word soe comes, so that it's very clear that soe refers to Akal Purakh. Appe aap narinjan soe, that's where soe comes. Ja karta sirthi ko saje ape jane soe. This is all Japji Sahib. This uche ko jane soe. So soe here very clearly is Akal Purakh. Nanak jane sacha soe. So here, Jis hath jod, the one that has the power, one that's the seat of power, one that has the ultimate authority, is soe, is Akal Purakh. Jis hath jod kar vekhe soe, Nanak uttam neech na koi. And when you are in that space and when you recognize that that power, that creator is responsible, is the master planner, is the master doer, then you don't get into good and bad, uttam neech, inferior, superior. Then the wall of separation totally goes. And Sahaj comes in. Sahaj is the way of Sikhi. In every aspect, we need to inculcate equipoise, intuitive ease, not get ruffled. When you're in Sahaj, everything that is happening, that may be offensive or that may be joyful, these are all ripples on the surface, because the inner state remains calm. And it comes again with practice. We're trying to be patient. And I was looking at what are some of the places or some of the endeavors in which Sahaj is important. So Sahaj Asan, right? We have to sit in ease. We don't need to get all twisted like a pretzel to attain even samadhi. Sahaj Asan. Then Sahaj Tun. We have to listen to that dhun, to that. We don't have to listen to harsh drums and hard rock or anything like that. We have to tune in to that saj dhun, that anachabad that brings us into harmony. Saj sukh. We don't have to struggle to get the sukh. Sukh also comes with sahaj. When you are in ease, then you're in comfort. Sukh is nothing but comfort, ease. You know, that pleasure that comes, that has the quietude of a river. That's what sahaj sukh is. Sahaj soheli bani. Even bani is sahaj. It's not harsh. Sahaj soheli mithi lagan wali bani. Sahaj kar, the ultimate home that we have to go to. That's also made of sahaj. That ghar, that abode of the ultimate. Sahaj naam. All of everything that motivates us to do naam. All the quotations from Bani, all the verses that tell us to do naam, they don't tell us to do it all at once. Swallow it all, you know. Sahaj vich naam. Sahaj binod. Even the pleasures of the world that you seek, you know, the fun, you can do that in ease also. Sahaj binod. So the life of a Sikh, the spiritual life, the worldly life, the personal interactions, the corporate life, everything, let it happen in Sahaj. Let not this excessive jor come into it, this excessive aggression, because you know what? Other than getting our nose bent out of shape and getting us blood pressure and making us angry and making us frustrated because we are forcing things to happen, nothing else is going to happen. So recognize that the power resides in Akal Purakh, that it operates through Akal Purakh. There is a design and a master plan for all of us. There is a reason, there is a very special reason why each of us are here. And we have to find our purpose and we have to fulfill our purpose. But we have to do it in Sahaj. There are many people who go through life without knowing what their purpose is. But each one of us has a purpose. And no purpose is small. But we have to find it and we have to live it. And we have to stay true to it. And not, you know, there is the single-mindedness has a lot of power and a lot of force, like the beam of a laser. A scattered light spreads, yes, but sometimes doesn't have that same power and same force. So there is something to be said for knowing what you want and going after it in Sahaj, and that's the formula of success. And that's also what Malcolm Gladwell talks about, that these people who have been successful have not necessarily had the highest talent or the highest IQ or the biggest, they have not been the biggest geniuses. They have had this environment where their parents and grandparents have brought into existence a certain way of life which is conducive to being consistent, which is conducive to being successful. And they have started early in life and they have stayed with it. And that is the formula of success. That is the formula of success over here and in spirituality. And if half our life has gone without Naam and without Simran and without any effort in the spiritual direction, we have lost those moments. You know, Aakhan Jeevan Visre Mar Jaun, those moments are gone, they are dead. But the rest of the life is there. Palke uthar naam te aave. Don't fret over it again. Don't struggle, don't cry, don't mourn, don't grieve. Jo Guru ka Sikh kaave palke. But tomorrow's another day. Remember those last optimistic words of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind? I mean, my God, she's lost everything. And she says, tomorrow's another day. She still has her land, her home. We still have ourselves, right? So tomorrow's another day. And palke ut. And as long as we know that this is our purpose, this is what we want, that Naam and Simran and Bani and self-reflection and consistency and practice is our way in Sahaj, in quietude. We'll get there slowly. Hopefully, some progress will be made in this lifetime. And if not, there are other lifetimes. Because we keep evolving. We slowly realize our own divinity and the wall of separation is demolished. And that's the purpose of life, right? The wall of separation to be demolished. to know that we're one. And yes, ego has served its purpose, got us going, self-esteem, confidence, all of that. But stop struggling and get into this place of ease and success in both realms, spiritual and temporal with you. Jis hath jod kar vekhe soy, nanak uttam neej na koi. Then judgment and struggle and the separation of good and bad and evil and them and us will be obliterated. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa.
Good job.